And we're live today on June 7th. It is our June monthly Facebook Live series here with Skull USA. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today. We have Richard Scinta, our VP of Administration for Skull USA. Welcome, Richard. How are you?
Great. How are you? It's great to see you. You look like you're at the beach.
I wish just working outside in the beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, very nice. I wish I was outside.
So, just to kick us off, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in the travel industry, what you do. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'm Richard Scinta. For Skull, it's my second year as VP of Admin for Skull USA, and I'm also the Vice President for Club and Association Governance for Wyndham Destinations, which is the world's largest timeshare company. And I've been here. Well, I've been in this role about 8 years, and prior to that, I was the general manager of the Wyndham Bonnet Creek Resort, which is kind of through the Disney gates. You have to go through the Disney gates to get there. So it's pretty cool that we were one of the first hotels that wasn't Disney behind the gate. So, and I opened that. We had 1,200 units, and so I'm pretty seasoned manager as well in the hospitality industry. It's been a lot of fun.
That's cool. So you have some of that Disney training in you.
Yeah, I mean, I started. Um, I was a dishwasher at 16, which is a lot of people. It was actually a promotion for my job as a paper boy. So I was like, dishwasher was like the dance as a 16-year-old. So I was a dishwasher at 16 in Sheridan, and then a small restaurant in my hometown. I decided, some of my friends they were like, hey, we should go into hotel school. So I'm in high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I went to hotel school in Delhi, State University of New York at Delhi. It's in the Catskills. Um, and then after that was a 2-year school. I went to FIU, Florida International University in Miami. And it was great because I got to work as a waiter at the Doral Country Club. And yeah, that was my great, it was a great kickoff to my career. So really liked being in Miami, learned a lot at FIU, and then being a waiter as well. Being a waiter is, you're dealing with everybody. I mean, you're dealing with the chefs, you're dealing with the dishwashers, you're dealing with a high end client base. So that was pretty cool. Went to Hilton International out of FIU, where I worked. I opened a property, two properties for Hilton International. I was executive housekeeper, believe it or not. So I was on the housekeeping side after getting out of college, and did that for quite a while. We worked at the World Trade Center, at the Vista at the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
I opened the Four Seasons in New York on 57th Street. Was there a year or two. Worked for Yale University in a club business, and then Disney recruited me, and they moved me and my family down here, so that was kind of cool. And
Nice.
here I am in Orlando working for Wyndham Destinations, my 16th year here. So it's been a good
That
career.
that's amazing. So, out of all of those different experiences that you've had, which I'll be honest, I did not know about you managing housekeeping and all the rest of it. That's really cool.
Yeah, no
How
doubt.
I guess, is there an experience out of any of them that, or maybe something like a time that you had that really kind of stands out, that was really memorable, or something that kind of really changed moved your trajectory?
It's I don't know if the one thing, but you learn, you have good and bad about every job. Everybody knows that. I mean, there's some good things and some not so good things. I think when the not so good things outweigh the good things is when people leave. So that's probably what happened to me over my career, and better opportunities as well. But I'll tell you, seeing Disney, because I came down from New York through Disney for 7 years, and seeing that on the inside is maybe the coolest experience I've ever had. Going down in the tunnels under Magic Kingdom, and the different, walking to the different lands, and seeing God forbid you would see Snow White without her makeup, but I've done that, Cinderella, etc. So it's such an iconic company and culture in the U.S. I thought that was very cool. Very cool experience that I had.
Now I have goals. I want to see Snow White without her makeup on.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't smoke, but I've heard that people have seen Snow White smoking down there.
If there's any kids watching, please turn off right
Yeah,
now. I should have
yeah,
done a warning.
exactly.
Snow
This is
White never
this
takes
is
her
a
makeup.
rated PG broadcast.
So let's talk Skull. So you mentioned that you've been on the board, you're serving as VP of admin. Tell us like what got you into Skull. Tell us a little bit about your club, and then I kind of tell us again. So as a lot of members know, the USA board were just in Orlando. Your club did a fantastic job hosting us. Tell us what your club did and about the event that we had at SeaWorld. Just give
Okay.
us a little scoop.
Wow, we got a 15-part question. So I started with Skull. There's a friend of, well, I was a GM of Bonnet Creek, as I said earlier, and one of my friends who happened to be also one of my vendors, as it turned out, he said, "Hey, you got to join this club, Skull Club." I never heard of it, honestly, and I was a new GM, etc. And I knew some people in Skull, so he brought me to a meeting, and I was like, to me, it was a no-brainer to join this club. It was a great club. Orlando, has had a lot of members at the time. We still do. I mean, but I think we had 150 members at that time, and all my friends were in the club from the business, all the GMs from the many different Orlando hotels. It was a great opportunity for me to network and then get to know other people who are offshoots from hotels in travel in Orlando. So yeah, I really enjoyed that Orlando experience at the beginning. It made me want to join, and it did help too when you're a general manager and you're able to expense the costs, and Orlando does. They put everything together, so it's like I don't know, $700 the first year. It's not cheap, but that includes all the dinners, etc., and all the dues. And but I was able to expense that, and that did help. I will say that there were a couple of years when lean years in companies where I had to pay my own, and I see people sometimes they don't want to do that, but I was like, this is worth it to me. So there were a couple of years in between where I didn't expense it and I did pay my own for the year. So I just thought it was a great organization. And what happened was, once you're involved and you're involved with an organization, people came to me and they said, "Hey, did you ever think about, you know, getting on the board?" So I ended up getting on the Orlando board, and while I was coming on the board, they were like, "By the way, we didn't tell you this, but you're going to be an officer. So you're in line to be the president." I'm like, it was kind of like a quick thing. And then, of course, the secretary left that year. So I moved to president in like 2 years. I mean, it was fast through the ranks. So, but it was, as I said, I mean, I couldn't picture myself not being a Skull member.
That
And
was a lot. That was a lot quicker than mine. Mine took 4 to 5.
Really, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't, it's just luck. I mean, this happenstance. One thing I did get out of though is the secretary had to take the minutes, and I went from the treasurer, which Tom White in Orlando does all the treasury, so I didn't have to do much, and then the secretary, the vice president or the secretary left, so I went right to vice president and passed the secretary, so I didn't have to take notes. That was a big advantage of
You lucked out on the two
personally.
best positions.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm not a great note taker. I can't read my own writing, so it's probably a good idea that I didn't do that. Although maybe I could just type it in the future if I have to do that. But yeah, Orlando Club's great. We did host the meeting. Well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, and with great time. Our club. I think we were talking about it with Jim, and we were doing a golf tournament. So a Orlando golf tournament with the club, and when this came about to do an AGM, I thought, and we didn't do NAS this year, so I thought it would be a great idea to do it in Orlando, participate in the golf tournament. We also that night, the night of our Skull USA AGM, we had a event at SeaWorld, which is kind of one of the big events I'd say in Orlando every year. We do one at SeaWorld, and Steven Segura, who's been a longtime member in our board, he volunteers to do this, and we get a great price, obviously. And so I thought it would be a great to put that package together. The Orlando board supported it with open arms. One of our members is the general manager of the Crown Plaza, so we had it there. I mean, obviously coming through the pandemic, a lot of people, there's not a lot of business travel and not a lot of business out there. So it was pretty easy to, to get that book because he really needed the business. And we just had a great time. And the Skull Orlando board did such a great job. And the Skull USA board, we had so much fun. And we did have a couple of people participate from DC and Miami, and I think that was it. Who came in town besides Orlando, and we had a really fun time. What's that?
And Tampa Bay.
And Tampa Bay, that's right. Tampa Bay as well. And so, I think they had a good time, and it was really worth. It wasn't that much trouble. I mean, we actually put it together. Everybody worked together, and we had a great meeting and really great weekend. It was kind of a 3-day thing, and had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the golf tournament was fantastic.
You say that because you won. That's the only reason you would say it's fantastic.
And I beat your team and in your son.
No, that's right. So my son was very angry because we were missing all these putts. I think he, but anyway, good job to you. I think you shot a 58, which is pretty good with no mulligans. We didn't have any mulligans. Anybody who plays golf tournaments, when you get mulligans, you can go low because you can see the break of the putt, etc. We had no mulligans, so 58 is a pretty good score.
I'd say our auditor on our board hit some key clutch putts for us. So if you ever need a clutch putter, Mr. Lowell is a good one.
I heard he sunk like 100-foot putt, so awesome to him.
But no, definitely the golf tournament was a blast. And so if anyone, I know there's other clubs that are putting them on. So definitely feel free to get the word out to Skull Leagues across the U.S. We all most of us enjoy golf. So definitely feel free to get the word out so that the rest of us can partake and come visit your club and make new connections.
Yeah, we'll go play some golf. I mean, that would be cool. And it's a little bit of work to organize. You're kind of herding cats when you're putting together a golf tournament, and everybody, but at the end of the day, when you're at the tournament and you have a little lunch or whatever afterward or before it, it's great. It's great camaraderie. It's not the same as being in a meeting in a room with your suit on or your jacket. It's just a lot of fun. So I would highly encourage people doing it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that you're VP of admin. So what are your goals for this year? What do you see Skull USA going for 2022? Kind of, what are you seeing?
Well, let me tell you, at its root, because I don't know how many people have done VP of admin because it's kind of a punishing job 2 years in a row. But this is my second year. So really, the admin position is really trying to keep the EC organized and the clubs informed, etc. We work very closely with the American Bus Association. I don't know if everybody knows, but they do our administration work and financial, etc. And they're we get the pleasure of working with Eric Brandel, who's a great guy, and he's very competent to work with. He really saves me a lot, and I love working with him. I try not to bug him too much, but we call him once in a while, and ABA has just done such a great job for us. But I think my role really is keeping communication. I think all our role. I mean, we're all in membership, but yet we're all in communication, because how do you keep membership? How do you keep members engaged? How do you keep people coming into the club through other people? It's really communicating to our clubs what we do. Pam Davis and Tom Moulton over the last few years have done unbelievable job, and you too, Morgan, as far as the webinars. And that, I think what we've done, and I think the pandemic in particular, right, has really helped our communication because it's forced us into then communicating via, these types of meets. And I mean, there are obviously some bad things that happened over the last year and a half, but there are some silver linings, and this is one of them. I think we were able to really, communicate to our membership and think about how we can do that better. And we've been able to come up with some things to do that. Um, our job at the Skull USA EC is to make sure we can't grow membership for a club, but what we can do is make sure our clubs have the ability to be successful, set them up properly, help them when they need it. They have to pretty much do it for themselves, but we can set them up so that they're able to do that. We want to make sure that they're all successful. At the end of the day, that's our role, is to make sure our clubs are successful, they have what they need, and that they're growing in many cases. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and
that's
a
how I
lot of
see
times
it.
we're here in ear just to hear them out, help them brainstorm, and make connections of which they need. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah, exactly.
any of those things. So, what is one experience being on the board? Because you've been on it for a while now. What's an experience that really stands out to you, or something that you've done or accomplished that
Well,
kind of stands?
good question. It's my fourth year on the EC. I think I was two membership and then two in this role of admin. So I really love being part of this great team, the EC team. I know, you know, um, I don't know. I mean, I'm just being honest here that when I was in Orlando, that the Skull USA EC team had a great reputation. There were things that came out, and you're like, well, what's going on there? And I think our job over the last 4 years was to really, create an atmosphere where people are welcome and that people want to join Skull and that people want appreciate what we do in Skull USA, because I mean they're paying a due to Skull USA, so we've got to make sure that we're doing things that are benefit them. And I think we've done a really good job on that. And I think our team, Morgan, we don't always agree on everything. We have meetings, and there are things we all want to do. We all have the same goal, I think, but how we get to the goal, not everybody agrees all the time, and that's good. I mean, that's what you need when you have a good team. You have people that might not necessarily agree, and you get everybody's viewpoint, and then as a team, you make a decision, and you move forward. So we have, and every year, by the way, in the EC, we have one or two new members. So there's more personalities and more, different ways of doing things that we have to get used to. So those are the things for me that keep it fresh and good. And, I have heard a lot of good feedback from our clubs on what we're doing for them. We'd like to hear more. And if there's anything we can do that we're not doing, it'd be great to hear that as well. And I think that goes back to communication and making sure there's a two-way street on the communication side. And, we're doing what we can, and we're doing what the membership wants. That's the most important thing.
No, absolutely. Is that feedback part and letting us know if there's something that we're not providing. So that's absolutely, you're spot on there. So if anyone has any questions for Richard, please feel free to put those in on the comments now. So then that way I can get those over to him. I'm going to just ask him some quick rapid fire questions. And if there's no other questions, then I'll wrap it up quick, short and sweet for you. But if anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to send those over. So Richard, what's your favorite golf course you ever played?
Well, I played a lot of them, but the one I like is Mackay Club in Kauai. We have a resort, Wyndham Destinations in Kauai. It's in Princeville, on the Princeville side of the island, and Mackay Club is awesome. I mean, you hit over these waves crashing. You got to hit over the lava and the waves crashing over this little bay. So it's kind of a cool thing. I like being any golf course that's on the ocean. I'm good with.
That is super cool. Okay, now I'm gonna have to write that one down. That is
write
amazing.
it down.
All right, sunrise or sunset?
I definitely like sunrise. I mean, sunrise to my wife is quite annoying, because as soon as there's a little bit of light, I have to wake up. I mean, I can't sleep like in the morning as soon as there's any light, because I want to get the day going, and I like getting up. I like being the only one up sometimes. I mean, so to me, it's all about sunrise. I kind of get depressed, honestly, at sunset. It's like the day's over. It's getting dark.
That's hilarious. Okay. What's your favorite sport to watch?
Well, definitely football. I mean, I'm a huge ever since I was a kid. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Um,
Oh,
NFL.
no, no.
Yes, yes, yes. And we're going to be good this year again. And it's exciting now to be a Bills fan because if you're a Bills fan 10 years ago, you won one or two or three games all year, but but there were still a lot of Bills fans. You'd see them everywhere.
So you're
And
part of the Bills Mafia
yes, I'm a Bills mafia. That's
with
right.
David Ryan, with past president David Ryan.
Yep, Dave and I are very big Bills fans, and it's great. As a matter of fact, we were just texting the other day. I think he's coming down. We're going to go to the Tampa Bay Bills game in November, so yeah, it's going to
Nice.
be fun. Yeah, hopefully he
That'll
can
be
make it.
fun. That'll
Yeah,
be fun.
but I do. I also like, and I'll get on golf. My son is a golfer, as you said earlier, and I love watching majors like the Masters of the U.S. Open, or I mean that's kind of a cool thing. And when I was a kid, right, I'm like to my dad, like, how do you like watching golf? It's the stupidest thing ever. They're filming the ball in the air. Like, I know what a golf ball looks like, but it's just kind of cool because now you know the mind that goes behind those guys and how they do it. It's such a mind game beyond the physical part.
Well, I'd like to thank Steve for his comment because he was saying exactly what I was thinking, and that's go Steelers.
Okay, yeah, Steven Segura, big Steelers fan, and good for you. I think we're playing you again this year. I mean, it was a tough result for you guys last year, but it probably probably might want to get used to it.
Hey now, they're working on it. They're
No,
working
I
on it.
know. Yeah, we
They're
got a
trying.
pretty good team. Yeah.
I miss the days of Terry Bradshaw. Those were good days.
Yeah, Terry's cool. I mean, I like watching him. He's great to watch. He's a funny guy.
They were good days.
Good days.
All right. What is one thing about you that would surprise people?
I'm kind of open. I guess I was a pretty good wrestler in college and high school. So not the wrestling where they hit you with the elbow or jump off the ropes, but a college wrestler. And I did that. I was pretty good at wrestling, and in the to be a college wrestler is kind of a level above. I get into college, I'm like, wow, these guys are good. So you had to get a lot better at it, or you'd get hurt. Um, but and sometimes my age, like I'm approaching 60, and people are like, no way. So I mean, I'm happy about that. that's that's a good thing.
That is. All right, last one, and then I'll check to see if there's any questions for you. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, I'm kind of picky, but I'm not in certain ways. But I was in England once, and this is a PG answer, but um, I went. These guys, these Colombian guys, I was friends with because they were GMs down when I worked for Hilton down at the in Colombia. One guy wore his jacket over his shoulders. I thought that was so cool. I was like, this guy must have confidence. He's wearing the jacket over his shoulders, not even puts his arms in. So I was hanging out with these guys, and we went to this Indian restaurant. They're like, oh, they sent us some lychee. And I'm like, well, what's lychee? And he said, oh, those are monkey testicles. And so I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. So I ate them. I said, they're pretty sweet. I was like, this is not. And they finally told me it wasn't, but I did try it.
Nice. That's impressive. I'm gonna say that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, we have no questions for you. Do you have any final thoughts or any final input that you want to tell anyone about Skull or yourself?
No, myself, as I said, I'm pretty open. I love the organization. It's been great. I do love meeting other people. I mean, I am a extrovert, but there are some people that aren't extroverts, and I think we never have a problem in Skull of getting members. I don't think. I mean, getting members. I think we have a problem keeping members, and a lot of times we'll bring people in who aren't extroverted, like you and I, Morgan, and and they might leave because we got our group, and in a lot of Skull clubs we have our group, and it's really hard to break into that group. So I would encourage everybody to bring people in, and once you get them in your club, you know, bring them into the group, bring them into the fold, because I see that happen a lot, and then they end up leaving the club, and You know, it's no fun to do all this work to bring in members and then just to lose them. So
Yes.
once we get them, let's get them in. I mean, I became a member and I don't see myself, you know, I see myself as a lifetime member now, and we need more people to think that way, I think.
No, absolutely. It's a lifelong thing. And if you do see someone that is new, to your point exactly, is even if they're not the person you brought in, maybe have them sit at your table and they could be part of your group. So
Right.
it's you never know what kind of connection you'll make.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. Thank you.
Keith Wooling saying go Giants. I can't say I'm a Giants fan.
Well, you know, Keith likes the Giants. Now, I did like Eli Manning. My
I
wife thought he was so
I
cute. You know, he looks like a little kid. So,
yeah.
but you know, he was all right. But other than that, I'm not a big Giants fan. Giants beat us in the Super Bowl. You know, we missed wide right, and it's something that I still wake up in, you know, cold sweats watching going wide right. We had that Super Bowl one, and by the way, it was the only one we had or had a shot at. The other three we all got killed. So anyway, go Giants.
Something about all of you living in Florida being New York fans.
Yeah,
Interesting.
well, I'm from Buffalo, so you know, we never forget our roots when we're from there.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for your time today. We appreciate it. I hope everyone that tuned in has enjoyed. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Richard at any time, or any of us here at Skull USA. Have a good week. I hope you started off your week well. And again, tune in to our website, skullusa.org, for any upcoming information. We do have our webinar later this month on June 22nd. So we'll talk to you then.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Morgan.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.